I don't believe that she had a hands-on with him. And this is from talking to Christopher. I do believe that as much as I talked to him, that she had a hands-on to the murders. I think what she told him is to get rid of her. Get rid of Shanann. 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 Get rid of her.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight we've got an interview with Sherilyn Kayli. This is from a year ago, or it was streamed a year ago from a YouTube channel called Kayli. I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'm going to pick out the relevant bits for us to look at. I'll put the link down for the original interview so you can listen to it in full. If you want, I'll go across there and have a look. I just thought it was interesting to have a look at this. In the interest of fair use, I'll be giving some commentary along the way as well. Yeah, so let's have a look. This will be part 1, and we'll do it in 2 or 3 parts.
Hi, Brandy.
Welcome.
I don't know if she can hear us.
Yeah, I can now.
Oh, okay.
That's why he doesn't remember.
And he knew there was something evil going on. He told me there were some very evil things that went on, in that house of hers, and things that he didn't even want to talk about. He talked about enough of them to be embarrassing, but there was things he wouldn't say. And he told me there are some things he would take to his grave. So how bad must some of it have been? And I don't believe that she was prepared for what she was trying to do. I don't think she was experienced in it, and she was maybe kind of playing around with it.
The reason he'll take things to the grave is because he's an absolute coward of a man. He's not going to want to publicly come out and say what he did. What he did come out and say is bad enough, so he's not going to come out and broadcast the fact of what he did, because he's a coward, and we know that because he couldn't even face the death penalty. At least have the balls to face the death penalty after all of it. I'm going to try and stay neutral, but it's hard sometimes.
And didn't realize what a force she was playing around with. And I believe that's what happened.
I agree, because that's the only thing that makes sense, because there's no sign that it was, even if he just snapped in that moment when they had their disagreement or whatever, there would be defensive wounds, or there would have been more of a struggle, and there would have been, that I just don't believe. Nate would have heard something if it was that extreme, and there's just no sign that he snapped.
Exactly. He did not snap. He told me he did not snap. And I think you're right. Shanann was not a small person. She was not somebody that would just passively sit there and allow him to strangle her without fighting back.
I disagree with this bit. Anybody that's done any sort of fighting or has been involved in any altercations at all, if a fully grown man, say you're a woman, if a fully grown man that's a little bit bigger than you, doesn't even have to be a lot bigger than you, is a little bit bigger than you, comes from behind you and you're unaware and puts you straight in a chokehold from behind and lifts you, doesn't even have to lift you far, just bend backwards whilst you're in a chokehold. I'm telling you now, once you're in that chokehold and you're surprised, it takes all the air out of you and you can't move. You cannot move to defend yourself. So I disagree with that there. All the wind's knocked out of you and you lose all the ability to defend yourself. I'm talking about now if you're unaware of the attack, if you're unaware that's going to happen and you're not prepared for it, if you're totally unprepared for it, there is no way that you're going to be able to fight back of a chokehold.
Oxy was in her autopsy. And, he told me about drugging her, but I still think a person would have enough about themselves to be able to fight back on something like this. And the fact that he could kill all of them so easily just says that there was a force. And he said he felt a force behind him. He felt something basically on his back, kind of stopping him from letting go when he was, strangling her. So I don't think all that should be taken lightly, but I think it was taken lightly by law enforcement. I don't think that they really delved into her and her past and the things that she was into. And like I said in my book, that needs to be looked at. That needs to be, researched a little bit by the law enforcement, because I do believe that they had something to do with what happened.
Yeah, absolutely. And I listened to all the interviews and all the body cam footage, and they questioned everybody. I'm all the way down to the babysitter, just very, very extensively. But then when the NK comes in, they just like she's just this damsel in distress. Like I don't, they just tiptoed around questions, and she was clearly in control of that interview and bringing her dad. It was a whole different vibe.
And she totally controlled the interview. And in fact, the police officers had very little to say. It was all her. She controlled all of it. And I just couldn't believe it as I was actually putting that in my book and reading through it. I'm just like, holy cow, I didn't realize it was this bad.
I've said in previous videos when I've gone over the Kessinger thing that her father completely controlled that interview. When the police were going on a line of questioning that he didn't like, he put a stop to it straight away. Now, if anybody else would have done that, they would have been chucked out the interview. The other thing as well, last time I checked, deleting messages would have been either, maybe not perjury because that's lying on the stand, but definitely deleting evidence, because she would have known those messages were evidence as well, see? Those are the two big things. She shouldn't have deleted evidence, and her father shouldn't have controlled the interview. Put in the comments what else.
If you look at the body cam videos of the police searching the house the night that they got a call that someone was in the house, that house, you can see the garage lights were on because the garage has windows at the top of the doors. And you can see the lights were on. And when the police got in, the lights were off. And, I had quoted a Bible scripture. I forget even where it's at. But anyway, it talks about an evil spirit that dwells in a house, and it will leave and bring back with it something like 8 or 9, I forget what it says, more spirits, even stronger than the first. And I believe that's what happened in that case. We saw how many videos of you could see something in the window, you could see coming down the stairs. But if you watch that police body cam, oh my goodness, that absolutely would keep me awake at night when I would watch that. It would scare me so bad because, it gives me chills right now to even say it.
In one of my previous videos, I've gone over the body cam when they're searching the house. If you have a look in my playlist, there's a video that covers this where there's hidden voices in the audio of the video. I've gone over it, and the ones that I think can be explained away, I've explained. Like anybody else, I come across a lot of videos, paranormal videos, people doing spirit boxes, which is a totally different thing altogether, which I won't go into now, but I went over it and I've got the original files. So the videos I've got are not videos that have been had by anybody else. The videos I've got have not been doctored in any way, and there is a few voices on there that are freaky and they do relate. So go and check them out. It's freaky. There is an incident there as well when there's a burglary getting reported and the police go, I've covered this in one of the videos as well, and the police go over, and whilst they're searching downstairs, there's a policeman in the kitchen and it spooks him. There's a light that's put on in the kitchen, but there's no one there when he goes in there to investigate. It's pretty freaky.
Gave you chills to watch that. It was so eerie. It's almost like you could see a spirit in that house. And I talk about that a lot in my book, The Murders of Christopher Watts. I don't know if you've read that one.
I should have done a counter on how many times she mentions the book. I think it's about 4 now already.
I read both. I didn't know that you had 3 books, actually. I'm going to read your second one soon. But yes, I do have the first one and the...
3 books. What is there to write about in 3 books? He was married. He met a... Can't put that in. He got married. Met someone at work. Had an affair. Went sandboarding, realised that he couldn't go on anymore with her, decided that she had to go, killed her, cowardly killed the kids as well when he could have left them alone, dumped their bodies, disgustingly, dug a grave for his wife that's not even big enough to probably fit the dog in, lost the sheet, lost the bed sheet because that's how much of a genius he is, left evidence all over the hatches, didn't even know whether someone was going to come to the site on the off chance, because he didn't really know, he wasn't 100%, goes home and then acts like nothing's happened and decides to, I know what I'll do a news interview. I've always wanted to be on TV. Does that. pours his heart out on the telly, saying that he misses the chicken nuggets thrown at his peanut head, and then fails miserably at trying to cover his tracks and cover everything up. Buck done. $1. Why $3?
Most recently.
Yeah. Yeah, the murders of Christopher Watts. I have a lot more information about the spirits that dwell in there, and how the woman in the black um, attire was seen going into the house after the
And not
murders,
coming
but
out, right.
not coming out. And is that not eerie to think about? I mean,
Yes.
that to me is such an evil.
Or some busybody that just wanted to see some action around the house. I think everybody was that hyped up around the case at that time. Someone just reported it, maybe by accident, maybe being a bit overexcited.
Like, you can see when the police, like, he's clearly not saying anything, but you can hear it in the way that he's breathing, like when he keeps pointing his, flashlight and firearm, like, towards the
Yes.
kitchen, like, he
Yeah.
is on edge,
Like he saw something, or he kept
Right,
getting
and they spend a
a
lot of
glance at
time in the
something.
basement, right.
Yes, yes. And so there's so much of that in this case. And I think, honestly, that that's what has drawn people in so much. People can't figure the case out because you're not going to figure out the evilness that's there. You're just not going to figure it out.
Right, there's no logical explanation.
Right, right.
And, a lot of people I know for myself with true crime, I like to, sink my teeth into facts and forensic evidence, and with this case, like, all 2,000 pages of the discovery, and there's little to nothing but a theory. There's no
Exactly.
evidence to back it up, and
I
that
know.
makes it crazy.
I know my son had said, if Christopher had just kept his mouth shut and not said anything, he would have got away with the perfect crime. They would have never um, and they would have never guessed that he put those bodies down those oil batteries.
Are you kidding me? Unless he was going to blow the thing up, which he quite possibly planned to do, but his plan was foiled, they would have found those bodies, I think, because when the oil gets drained out, there would have been instrumentation to point out, or I would imagine there would be instrumentation to point out exactly the level and the flow of the oil. There's also maintenance checks that go on. You're talking about oil, you're talking about money, and they would monitor. Now, I don't specifically know what they're for. I don't specifically know what these oil sites were for, whether they were just for storing oil or what. But I can guarantee you there'd be some sort of instrumentation to say about the flow of oil on them, some sort of monitoring device. They would have discovered them. It might not have been the media, but they would have discovered them, I think.
There's no way
Right,
they would ever figure that
that's the
out.
only thing that he did was point out the direction and who was in which tank, which only
Yes.
says that he was involved with the disposal, The fact of the matter is his account and Rourke's account of what happened is not possible because the dogs would have been going crazy in the house and at his truck, and there was no signs that there was anything of decomposition that happened. There was no sign that there was any murder that happened. So can you say it happened like this and then come to find out Christopher says it happens at the oil field? Well, that means you just convicted someone of 5 life sentences of something that you weren't sure about. It's a theory, and I'm not saying he should be out because he's where he belongs, and I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure he knows that, but I
Yes.
don't think he's the only one that should be there.
Well, no, I don't think, in my opinion, if you read my book, I don't believe that she had a hands-on. This is my theory. I don't believe that she had a hands-on with him, and this is from talking to Christopher. I do believe that as much as I talked to him, had he remembered anyway that she had a hands-on to the murders, I do believe he would have told me. But it's just, to me it was all a mind thing, and I don't think she meant for him to kill his family. I don't think that was something that she was wanting him to go and kill Shanann and the girls. I think what she told him is to get rid of her, get rid of Shanann, get rid of her. And in his
Oh, and he
mind,
took her, like, literally. Oh
he
my
took her
goodness.
literally because that's his mind. He's like that. He's been
Right,
used to
and he's
being told
very
what.
manipulated by women, yes, you can just tell,
Very,
he's it's easy for him to
very
just
much so.
listen. So do you believe that he's remorseful, or does he come off like, smug or, like
You know, in
When
the
he talks about it, the whole his eyes turning black, like, I wanted to ask you about that, like, what is that like seeing that
yeah.
real time?
Well, it's awful. And you know, as I have put more and more thought into the whole thing, in the beginning he seemed almost like it was exciting for him to talk about it, like he needed to talk about it. But see, I was the first person that he had seen since he had been arrested. Um, and went through, you know, a trial, not a trial,
Really?
but went through his sentencing. He had not seen another human being other than the men in the jail, but he had not been with anyone, you know, to talk, sit and talk with them. So he was very anxious to talk to me and give me all of the details of everything. And that's why I don't think really that she had any hands on with it, because I think he would have told me then. His eyes would literally turn black when he would talk to me. His face would change. But as time went on and he had more and more memory of everything that had happened, because he traumatized himself so badly.
Are you kidding me? Traumatized himself so badly. It's one thing to kill people, but to do what he did, especially to children, give me a break, traumatized himself. The man's a coward and he should have had the death penalty. All he wants to do is push the narrative that it wasn't his fault, something overcame him and it wasn't his fault. Well, that's a coward's way out, that's a cop out. I do believe there's evil in the world and there's higher powers that go on. Yes, certainly. Not where Chris Watts is concerned. He's an evil coward. He's an evil, cowardly baby killer.
Was not totally remembering everything that had happened. And so as time went on and all that trauma kind of settled out and everything, I see some remorse that I did not see in the beginning. So I know he's very remorseful that he got caught. I know that for
Oh,
sure.
yeah, absolutely. But
Um,
he doesn't seem like he even considered that as a possibility, like, he never anticipated to be caught, like, and you just
mm.
have to be really narcissistic and arrogant to think that your entire family's gonna disappear and you're not gonna
And
be looked at.
you're not going to get caught, right? And he told me he never even considered the fact that he would be caught. But you know, he is smart, and I think he did think that he was smart enough to outsmart the law enforcement. Again, you know, I have always believed that Christopher has Asperger's and are somewhere on that spectrum of autism. He's very functional. He's smart, but he's strange in the fact that he does not have any social skills.
I thought that before, and I did cover that in one of the videos I did. He gave that presentation on relationship breakdowns and such. And if you watch that video, you can tell he's not just shy, he's socially awkward. He's definitely got no social skills, which I said in the video. I don't want to put it down to autism or different things like that because I'm not qualified to do that. Like anything, like any of my videos, guys, you've got to make your own minds up about this stuff.
He can't look you in the face when he talks to you. So he's on the spectrum there somewhere, I believe. And he was never tested. And once he went to
Wow.
prison, his family didn't want him to be tested. His lawyers didn't want him to be tested. I think it was a big mistake. I think he should have been tested. So his remorse does come from partially from being caught. But you know, he told me that he was more satisfied and felt easier about his life there in prison than what he did with his life with Shanann.
Wow.
I don't know, does that say remorse? I'm not sure that
I
it
don't
does.
I don't even know, like, but that kind of goes hand in hand with what you're saying, you know, like, because I know, I have a stepson that's on the spectrum with autism, and when you're autistic, like, you like structure, routine,
Yeah.
and
So I've cut this part out because she
Shanann
starts
isn't the
talking
one who
about
did the house
personal
cleaning.
people,
And
personal
really?
no, he
issues,
took care
her
of the
son
house.
and
He did the house
stepson
cleaning.
and so on. So
And
I've cut
that's
this
why
bit
the
out,
house was
guys.
so perfect, because he was so OCD. Even the morning that the police came, they could smell bleach or cleaning products and stuff. They thought he was trying to hide evidence. That's just Christopher. That's just what he did. I don't know. It's really it's a horrible shame.
I think the cleaning wasn't to throw the police off for a body or blood or anything like that, because there wasn't any, but I think he knew that the dogs would be going around the house, and that's why he cleaned the house. He cleaned the house because he knew it would be forensically tested, even though there was no blood or anything like that. He knew the house would still be forensically tested, so I think that's why he still gave it a good clean. So he's not completely inept.
Did not have to happen. A
Right.
lot of red flags that nobody saw.
Right. Yeah, and I think a lot of just even he was an easygoing guy, but there was a lot of things kind of weighing on him, just tugging him in directions like with
Mhm.
his the nut gate and the I want you to make your parent, tell your parents not to behave this way, and I want you to not be with Shanann and Nicole, like I want you to choose between them or
Yes.
me, and he, I guess, just kind of, okay,
Yeah.
well, I'm going to make everybody happy.
Right. Think of that. He had three different women telling him what to do, and it all worked against each other. So I don't want to use the word snap because Christopher did not snap, but in his mind, he did what he thought he had to do to just please everyone, you know. Um,
Do you think if he would have got her to miscarry that he still would have ended up killing her, or that he would have been more willing to move forward with the divorce if there was no new baby?
I asked him that, um, and he says that he had actually been thinking about, kind of daydreaming about killing Shanann long before all of that. So I
Wow.
think the opportunity just was there for him. But what didn't fit for me, and I still don't understand, is why he killed the girls. Um,
Right.
he,
Yeah, that doesn't
I,
make sense because he was a loving dad, you
right,
know?
and the fact that I know he loved his girls. I mean, you say that, but then he killed
And
them.
they loved
That doesn't,
him, right,
that's an
you know?
oxymoron. But he, in those moments, whatever took over him, I mean, he said to me, um, that night when he put the girls down, he said, I knew then that was the last time I had ever tucked my babies in. So he knew ahead of time, hours in advance, that he was going to do what he
Right.
did. Um, so,
Yeah, I think in one of the letters he even says he had an opportunity from God, 3 different times
yes,
to turn around and to not do it, and he
right.
went right past the stop sign and said, "No, I'm gonna I have to do this, I'm going to do this,"
Yeah,
or
yeah,
wow,
yeah,
wow, wow.
I know.
That's just it's scary because it almost makes you think like, "Okay, well, I can be a little naggy and bossy, so to say, like, do I have to worry about, just it's how do you, prepare or prevent that when, there's no red flags really that you can see in the moment, they're all hindsight."
I think the biggest red flag, uh, of course, was the affair. And had Shanann
Right,
been able to find out the truth about the affair, I don't think any of this would have happened. Because number one, she would have kicked his ass out, or, number two, she would have divorced him right then and there. I mean, I just think that had she been given the fair opportunity to know about NK, um, the murders would not have happened.
I'd like to thank Destronic for sponsoring the video once again. Thank you very much to them. Go over to their website, use code PADDY if you want a desk, a standing desk, or any sort of seating. Desks are amazing. I'm not just going to say that. I do use the desk, and there is a video coming for you to have a look at one as well, so thanks to them. I'm at full fitness nearly. I'll be seeing you, probably do the next part tomorrow. Thank you to all my members. I'll be back to normal doing the comments. The other thing as well, I've put in the community post, I'm going to be doing a Q&A. I'll probably do it when I've got enough questions, but towards the end of the week or something like that. So go across and have a look and put your questions in the community post. If you don't want to do it in the community post, you can email me questions as well. It could be on the What's case or anything that you want. Go over and do that because I need the questions. Thank you to everybody once again, and most of all, don't have nightmares.